For several years now, the media has been alerting us with the news about global warming. But the media is generally prone to scaring people whenever there's an opportunity. So what is really happening to the climate on our beloved planet? Should we despair, and is it time to cut and run? Or is there still hope? February 2016, according to the World Meteorological Organization, was the hottest year in the history of observations. The average temperature on the surface of the Earth and the ocean was higher than the temperature recorded in the last century by as much as 1.5 degrees. 1.21 degrees, to be more precise. It doesn't sound so scary. There have been hotter times. About 55 million years ago, between Paleocene and Eocene. By the way, this is still the same Cenozoic era in which we are living. The ocean warmed up to 10 degrees above 0 Celsius. For comparison, now the temperature on the surface of the seas is about 2 below zero. Scientists called this hot period the late Paleocene thermal maximum. Why it happened, no one knows for sure. It may have been the fall of a comet and a change in the quality of methane that could jump out of the ocean into the atmosphere. The latter is associated with the greenhouse effect. Carbon dioxide, methane and water vapor are still enveloping the Earth like a blanket, keeping it warm. Just like a greenhouse made of polycarbonate keeps it warm for the cucumbers in your grandmother's garden. The Earth is located pretty far away from the Sun. So without the help of these greenhouse gases, the average temperature on our planet could be about 18 degrees below zero. Now, according to NASA, it's comfortably 15 above zero. But the greenhouse effect isn't always beneficial for humanity. By burning something, and we burn a lot of things, fuel, coal and waste, we increase the amount of carbon dioxide. So we make the greenhouse shell of the planet more dense. With the same amount of greenhouse gas emissions as in the last 50 years, by the end of the century the temperature may go up by 4 degrees Celsius. There may even be a mechanism of increasing of the greenhouse effect present. The temperature on the planet is rising, water is turning into water vapor, the greenhouse effect is increasing. According to some speculations this happened to Venus 3 to 4 billion years ago. The normal temperature there is about 450 degrees above zero now. But we won't have to face such a threat. Besides, the greenhouse effect may not even exist. But the Sun definitely exists, and it has a life of its own. There are 11-year cycles of solar activity. Science has been aware of it for a long time. One of the main indicators of such activity are the sunspots that come and go. Last century, astronomer Edward Maunder thoroughly delved into the archives and found that during the period from 1645 to 1715, the number of sunspots greatly decreased. This period was called the Maunder minimum. By a strange coincidence. At the same time, the coldest period on Earth in the last 2,000 years occurred. Global climate cooling. The so-called Little Ice Age, recorded from the 14th to the 19th century, reached its peak in the 17th to 18th centuries. However, not everyone agrees that the Sun is to blame for the fact that people were so cold. Other possible causes of the frost include increased volcanic activity. It was harder for the Sun's warmth to break through the ashes. The change in the direction of one of the largest warm currents on Earth, the Gulf Stream, and much more. But if the Sun is the culprit, then the temperature increase that we see today isn't at all concerning. They only started actively monitoring the climate at the beginning of the 19th century. So there's nothing scary or even surprising about the fact that it has become warmer now compared to the Little Ice Age. Moreover, we will find out who is right in 15 to 20 years. British astrophysicists have recently developed a new physical model of the Sun that allows you to track how the star feels, and predict how it will behave in the future. According to such predictions in the 30s and 40s of the 20th century, the spots on our star will become smaller again, which means that, if solar activity affects the climate on Earth, we are not waiting for global warming, but on the contrary, for a new little ice age. So, just in case, prepare both your fur coats and bathing suits, while waiting to find out who's actually right. Got a question? Ask away in our Nouchpok community on vk.com and wait for the new episode.